Hi there, I'm Lorelei. I showed up to the family birthday dinner I paid for, only to find an empty room. No calls, no mix-up, just silence. Then my dad laughed and said, "It was yesterday." That was the moment I realized this wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a message. And that night, I started unraveling years of quiet betrayals, stolen money, erased invitations, even my name used for credit fraud. How long had they been doing this behind my back? And why did no one ever stop it? What kind of family does that to their own? The parking lot was quiet, too quiet. Not a single car I recognized. No familiar chatter, no cigarette smoke curling behind the dumpster like usual when my cousins tried to act slick. Just me, the hum of my engine, and that growing sense in my gut that something wasn't right. I double-checked the message on my phone. Friday, 7 p.m., Mateo's. Can't wait to see everyone, Mom. Sent 2 weeks ago. It was Friday. It was 7:02 p.m. I was right on time, like a damn fool. Inside, the restaurant buzzed with clinking glasses and low jazz, but the private dining room I'd reserved was dark, locked. I approached the hostess stand. "Hi," I said, trying to sound composed. "I'm with the Wendell party, private room." She scanned her list and blinked. "That was yesterday." "No, it's today," I said, already feeling my throat tighten. She shrugged. 16 people, big cake. Your mom brought name cards. They had a good time." My stomach dropped. I didn't say another word. I turned and walked outside, dialing my dad before I hit the curb. He picked up on the second ring, voice light like nothing was off. "Oh, hey, sweetheart," he said. "Everything all right?" I paused. "Where is everybody?" He chuckled, like I'd asked what day it was. "We did it last night. Figured you were caught up with work or something. Don't worry, we brought you leftovers." I didn't answer. I just hung up. Back in the car, I stared at my reflection in the windshield. For a few long seconds, I didn't feel anything. Not anger, not sadness, just blank. Then it hit me. This wasn't a miscommunication. This wasn't a mix-up. This was deliberate. They'd planned a party. They used my money. And they made damn sure I wouldn't be there. This wasn't the first time I'd been left out. But it was the first time they didn't bother to lie about it. I sat in silence. My phone buzzed on the passenger seat. Some meaningless notification I didn't care to read. The memory of my dad's voice clung to me, sticky and cold. "We brought you leftovers." I had been erased from my own family's event. They didn't forget me. They chose to remove me. I leaned back, eyes fixed on the ceiling of the car, letting the heaviness settle. I didn't cry, I didn't scream, but I knew something had shifted. The kind of shift you don't come back from. They made it clear. I wasn't just an afterthought this time. I was the sacrifice. I didn't go straight home. I drove aimlessly for a while, past dim strip malls, closed shops, gas stations humming under flickering lights. At some point, I ended up outside my apartment complex, engine still running. That familiar ache pressed behind my eyes, but I refused to let it win. Not tonight. Back inside, I kicked off my shoes and dropped my purse on the floor. I didn't bother turning on the lights. My apartment wasn't much, but it was mine. And at least within these walls, no one pretended I didn't exist. I collapsed onto the bed without changing, pulled out my phone, not because I wanted to, but because I couldn't not. There it was, my mother's latest Facebook post. Family Forever Dad's special night. 17 photos, one after another, my family smiling wide, cake slices half-eaten, wine glasses raised, candles flickering. Everyone looked full of joy, of laughter, full of each other. There was no empty chair, no wish you were here comment, not even a blurry corner where I might have been cropped out. I wasn't there, physically or emotionally, and clearly they liked it that way. I clicked through them again, slower this time. Aunt Beverly's gaudy earrings, Marcia's ridiculous blouse with fake pearls, Derek's smug grin holding up a beer I probably paid for. They were proud of this, of leaving me out, and worst of all, they made it look good. No one reached out. Not a single message, no cousin, no secondhand apology, not even Elias, who used to claim he hated how they treated me. I scrolled back to the group chat. 23 unread messages from the day before, all of them laughing, confirming the plan. My last message, looking forward to seeing everyone, Friday at 7 p.m., Mateo's. Just sat there, blue check marks glowing like scars. No replies. Left on read. They hadn't forgotten. They'd all agreed to ignore me. I dropped the phone onto the bed. My chest felt tight, not from panic, just pressure, like my body had run out of room to store disappointment. I forced myself up and walked to the bathroom, splashing cold water on my face. I didn't look at the mirror right away. When I did, it hit me. I wasn't grieving being left out. I was realizing they'd finally stopped pretending to include me. The caption echoed in my head. So grateful to have everyone here like the good old days. Everyone. That word stung more than I expected. I had been erased, quietly, cleanly, deliberately. I walked back into the bedroom, took a breath, and opened my photo gallery. I'd kept every family picture, every dumb group shot, every blurry Thanksgiving selfie. I started scrolling, then selecting. One by one, I marked them. Hundreds of memories, smiles I'd once thought were real. Then I tapped, delete all shared albums. For a moment, I hesitated, my thumb hovered. But then I whispered, barely louder than a breath, maybe I need to start erasing too. The screen went black after I hit delete. For a long moment, I just sat there, phone on my chest, eyes fixed on the ceiling as if it could explain anything. The hum of my fridge in the background reminded me I was still here, still awake, still alone. My mind drifted to last November, Thanksgiving. I'd spent days planning, bought the turkey, the pies, the wine, nearly $800 all in. My apartment smelled like cinnamon and butter. I was proud of it. But at 10 a.m. that morning, I got a text from Mom. Maybe sit this one out, emotions are high. No explanation, no follow-up, just that. I remember sitting at my table, full spread untouched, watching Friends reruns on mute. I ended up eating pad thai from the corner takeout, alone. That wasn't even the worst part. 2 years ago, they invited me to what Mom called a healing dinner. When I got there, everyone was seated at one long candlelit table. My place was at a fold-up tray in the corner, salad and sparkling water waiting. I asked Mom if there had been a mistake. She smiled like I was overreacting. You're doing that clean eating thing, right? I hadn't said that in years. It was always like that. Twisted kindness disguised as concern. Smiles with strings attached. And money? Forget it. I became their go-to fix. When Derek's car broke down, I paid. When Mom's property taxes slipped, I covered them. When Emily, Marcia's daughter, needed preschool tuition, I sent the check. They never said thank you. Not really. Maybe once Mom sent a card. She misspelled my name, not Lorelei. She wrote Laurel, after 34 years. But what cut deepest wasn't just what they did. It was what they expected. They acted like I owed it to them, because I had no kids, because I was doing well, because I didn't need much. That was their code for, you're the one we can drain and leave behind. Lying on my bed now, I realized something clicked. None of this was accidental. It was a pattern, designed, maintained, and I was the only one not in on the joke. I sat up and grabbed my phone again, opened the group chat. There it was, my message from 2 weeks ago, still sitting between Mom's pot roast photo and Derek's dumb meme about real men eat ribs. Looking forward to seeing everyone. Friday at 7 p.m. Mateo's. Not a single response. I scrolled to Elias. My thumb hovered over call, but instead I typed, I just need to know one thing. Was it planned? I set the phone down beside me and waited. 10 minutes, then 20. I left the app open like a dare. The read receipt came quickly. The reply never did. By the time the clock on my stove blinked 1:38 a.m., I was pacing between the kitchen and the living room. I'd made tea, didn't drink it, ran a bath, let it go cold. My mind ran in loops I couldn't stop, until the screen finally lit up again. Elias had messaged back, but it wasn't to me. It was meant for Derek. She messaged me. Not gonna lie, she looks hurt, but she'll get over it. She always does. Then, less than a minute later, she never fights back. Chill. My stomach dropped. I reread it twice, then 3 more times. So it wasn't just that they left me out. It was that they counted on me not reacting. Elias, of all people, had been the one I thought might see me. He used to say things like, "You're the sane one in the circus." But apparently, I was also the predictable one. The one they all trusted to swallow her pain quietly and move on. I sank onto the couch, phone resting in my lap like dead weight. It all clicked then. Every sideways comment, every deflection, every "you know how they are" when I tried to talk to Elias about how they treated me. He knew. He always knew. And he let it happen, because it was easier than standing up to them. I opened our chat history. Message after message. Him changing the subject, dodging, minimizing. Never once defending me. Not really. Just enough sympathy to keep me from walking away completely. I stood up and opened the cabinet drawer under my TV. Pulled out an old notebook. Leather-bound, barely used. I hadn't touched it in years. At the kitchen counter, I flipped to a blank page and wrote across the top, "Debt ledger 5 years." Then I started listing names. Derek, $2,100. Car repairs, Marcia, $1,800. Emily's tuition, Mom, $3,400. Property taxes, cruise deposit, Dad, $620. Overdue electric bills, liquor store tab page after page. No anger, just numbers, facts, a record they never thought I'd keep. When I ran out of names, I drew a hard black line under the last entry. And beneath that line, I wrote in block letters, "I owe them nothing." It had been 2 days since I wrote the ledger, 2 days of silence, no calls, no apologies, not even an awkward emoji from Elias trying to save face. I didn't expect remorse, but part of me still thought someone might at least pretend to care. They didn't. Sunday afternoon, I sat at the edge of my couch, phone in hand. My fingers hesitated over Mom's name, then tapped. She answered after 3 rings, voice sugar-sweet. "Well, look who finally calls. We were just talking about you." I didn't bother with greetings. "I know you moved the dinner on purpose. I know what Elias said. I'm not calling to fight. I'm calling to set terms." A pause. Then the chuckle I knew too well. "Oh, come on, Lorelei. Don't be so dramatic. You've always been sensitive." "You thought I was working late," I said flatly. "Sweetheart, Derek really needed that night. He's been going through a lot, and we had to pick a time that worked for everyone. Everyone but me, of course." I took a breath, steadying myself. "Let's talk about last Christmas." Mom's voice hardened a bit. "What about it?" "You asked if I could help buy gifts. I said yes. You said you'd pay me back." "Didn't I?" she asked, like this was all ancient history. "You used my Amazon account without permission. $700 in toys and electronics. No heads up, no apology." Silence. Then, "You always say money isn't important to you, so why are you acting like it is now?" I let that sit for a beat. "Because it's not just about the money. It's about you using my name like it belongs to you." Her voice dropped. "Don't do this to us." I didn't yell. I didn't cry. "I'm not doing anything to you. I'm finally doing something for myself." I stood and walked to the window, watching the trees bend in the breeze. "From now on, anything you want, money, favors, even my presence, comes with a cost. And I'm no longer giving discounts." Mom didn't respond. I could hear the TV in the background, some sitcom laugh track echoing, wildly inappropriate. "And Mom," I added, voice calm but sharp, "if you or Derek ever use my name again without permission, I won't just speak up. I'll make it official. Legally." More silence. Then the line went dead. I stared at the phone for a few seconds, then set it down. My hands trembled slightly. But inside, there was stillness. Later that evening, I logged in to check my credit report. A habit now. Protective reflex. And there it was. A new credit card account, opened 2 days ago. My name, my address. I hadn't touched a credit application in months. My eyes narrowed. They didn't even wait a week. The moment I saw the account, something inside me clicked off, like a switch from grief to calculation. It was Monday morning, barely past 8, and I was already seated at my kitchen table with a cup of black coffee and my laptop open to the fraud portal. I reviewed the charges: electronics, a spa voucher, subscription boxes for luxury beauty items. Total balance, $4,112, all of it under my name. My credit score had already taken the hit. I called the fraud hotline. "Thank you for calling. How can we assist?" the agent asked. "I need to report identity theft," I said clearly. "The account is under my name, but I didn't open it." She took the details down. then asked the question I'd been expecting. Do you suspect who might have done this? My brother, I said without hesitation. There was a pause. You're not the first one to say that, she replied almost gently. Family-based identity theft is more common than people think. I'm sorry. I uploaded copies of my credit report, screenshots of texts, group messages, Elias's slip-up. She gave me a case number and advised I file a police report. I already had the form downloaded. Around noon, my phone rang again, this time from the loan officer I'd spoken with last month about a mortgage. I'm sorry, Miss Wendell, he said, voice tight. Due to the new account and lowered credit score, your mortgage pre-approval has been denied. I thanked him. Hung up. No shaking this time. I walked over to my printer, pulled out the denial letter, slid it into a red folder labeled Evidence. An hour later, I stood inside the Spokane Police Department. The woman at the front desk handed me a clipboard. A detective came out 10 minutes later, a tall woman with tired eyes but sharp attention. We've seen cases like this. When it's family, people hesitate. Are you ready to name a suspect? Yes, I said. His name is Derek Wendell. She nodded. Do you have proof of motive or opportunity? I have patterns, I replied, and purchases tied to his lifestyle. We scheduled a formal statement. I left with a copy of my report, stamped and dated. At home, I closed my laptop and stared at the wall for a moment. This wasn't about feelings anymore. This was about boundaries. I picked up my phone, opened the family group chat, and typed slowly. We need to talk. Mom's house, Friday, 7 p.m. No explanations, no smiley faces, just a reckoning. I pulled into the driveway at exactly 6:58 p.m. The porch light was on, just like always, glowing soft against the chipped white siding. The same welcome mat from 10 Christmases ago still sat crooked by the front door. Inside, nothing had changed, and that made my skin crawl. Derek was on the recliner, shoveling chips into his mouth. Dad didn't even look up from the TV. Mom, Marcia, was smoothing the couch cushions like we were hosting neighbors, not reckoning. We weren't sure you'd show, she said, voice sweet but thin. I'm not here to catch up, I replied. I'm here to settle things. I placed the red folder on the coffee table with a thud. Dad raised an eyebrow. I opened it and pulled out copies of the fraudulent credit card statements, my denied mortgage letter, screenshots of text messages, timestamps, and purchase receipts. Then I slid one forward, pointing at Derek. That spa package your girlfriend posted on Instagram last week? Bought with a card opened in my name. Derek sat up, laughing through a scoff. You're seriously doing this? I didn't blink. I'm not doing anything. The Spokane Police Department is. His face changed, cocky, twisted into pale. Mom stepped forward fast, voice cracking. Lorelei, we didn't know. He thought you wouldn't mind. He needed it. He or you too? I asked, cutting her off. From the folder, I pulled out a yellowed piece of paper, a juvenile court record, dated 2009. You forged my name to get Derek out of juvenile custody. I was out of state. You never told me. Marcia's hand flew to her chest. That was years ago. You were doing so well, you just thought I'd never find out. Dad slammed the remote on the coffee table. So what? You want to ruin your brother's life over a couple of bills? Derek shot up. You always thought you were better than us. That's the truth. No, I said calmly, standing my ground. I thought we were family. That was the lie. Mom crumbled into sobs. We did what we had to do. You didn't need help. He did. He always did. Derek sneered. You've always been the outsider. Just admit it. I met his eyes. No, you made me the outsider, and now I'm making it permanent. Silence swelled in the room, thick and raw. Then Elias, who'd been quiet in the corner, finally spoke. She's not lying. I was there when they moved the dinner. They laughed, said she'd be too dramatic anyway. Every pair of eyes snapped to him. He didn't flinch. This wasn't an oversight, he added. It was on purpose. I looked at them, one by one. This was never a family, it was a con. Elias's words hung in the air like a match over gasoline. No one moved. Marcia's face twisted, rage simmering behind her eyes. She looked at Elias with disbelief. You had no right. He didn't flinch. You had no heart. That was the moment something inside me stopped clenching. I looked at Elias and gave the smallest nod. Thank you. That's the first honest thing I've heard in this house in years. I reached into my bag and pulled out a sealed envelope. I placed it calmly on the coffee table. Here's the invoice for Mateo's, I said. $1,740. Divide it however you want, or don't. I won't be following up. Derek barked out a laugh. Wow, this is next level petty. I kept my voice steady. No, this is clarity. This is me refusing to fund my own humiliation ever again. You always gotta make it about money, he snapped. That's why nobody wants you around. You're cold. You keep score. I didn't keep score, I said, standing tall. I documented injury. I handed Elias the red folder. You can make copies. Pass them around. I'm done hiding the truth to protect people who use it as a weapon. Marcia sat down, silent, pale. I turned to them. Dad still stone-faced. Derek still furious. Marcia quietly weeping. This is the line, I said. If you ever use my name, my credit, my time, or even speak about me like I owe you something, my response will be legal, not emotional. Wendell finally spoke. So what? You're just walking out? Like we're strangers? No, I said quietly. I'm walking out because you made me a stranger a long time ago. I'm just finally agreeing with you. I turned to leave. The room didn't stop me. No one begged. No one moved. But just as I reached the door, I heard Marcia's voice behind me, soft and shaken. What will people say? I paused, hand on the doorknob. They'll say I finally chose myself, I said. And I'll say, it's about time. 3 months later, I was living in a one-bedroom apartment on the quiet side of Bend, Oregon. I found it through a friend of a friend. Rent was half what I paid in Spokane. The walls were thin, but the peace was mine. The first thing I noticed in my new life was silence, and how it didn't feel empty anymore. I drank coffee on my porch in the mornings without checking my phone. I went grocery shopping without running calculations in my head. I didn't feel like I was drowning in someone else's mess. Then one Tuesday, a plain white envelope slid through my mail slot. No return address. Inside, a check, $870, and a note. Elias's handwriting was unmistakable. I don't expect forgiveness, but thank you for doing what I never had the guts to. I stared at it for a long time. I didn't cry. I didn't smile either. But I folded the check and placed it between the pages of my journal. Not to cash, just to remember. Word traveled slowly, but it traveled. Derek had lost his job. Rumors circled about a flagged background check. Credit issues he couldn't explain away. Marcia wasn't kicked out of church, but I heard she no longer led the women's study group. Too many whispers. Wendell? Nothing. Not a call, not a text. Just silence. And it didn't hurt anymore. It just felt like confirmation. I left the family group chat. No one noticed. Not even a missed birthday call this year. For the first time, I didn't feel invisible. I felt unburdened. Some evenings, I'd walk past the corner bookstore. One day I went in, bought a blank journal. That night, I sat at the little desk by my window, opened to the first page and wrote, "This story began with them, but it ends with me." I closed the cover and took a deep breath. Not of relief, of readiness. There would always be scars, but scars meant I had healed. And healing was a story too. Maybe you've been there too. Maybe you've sat at a table you paid for and realized you were never truly invited. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Family isn't just who shares your last name. It's who shows up when you're silent, who defends you when it costs them something, who values you without needing to benefit. Walking away wasn't easy. It never is. But sometimes healing requires distance. And sometimes choosing yourself is the bravest form of love there is. So here's my question for you. Have you ever had to walk away from someone you were taught to love? What did that moment teach you? Let me know in the comments. Drop a 1 if this story spoke to your heart. Or tell me where you're watching from. I'd love to know. And if you didn't connect with this video, tell me why. I'm listening. And if this kind of real, raw storytelling matters to you, hit subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. Because sometimes, the stories we need most are the ones that tell the truth. Thanks for spending this time with me. You weren't alone here, and neither was I.
Hi, I'm Isabella, a 28-year-old event planner with a passion for cooking and making life easier for the people I love. Right now, I'm standing in my kitchen, surrounded by what looks like a cooking tornado, pots, pans, and Tupperware scattered everywhere. My hair's in a messy bun, and there's flour smeared on my cheek. Why? Because I've taken on the ultimate challenge, prepping a month's worth of meals for my pregnant sister. You're a lifesaver. Olivia's voice comes through the speakerphone as I stir a pot of hearty vegetable soup. Hey, what are little sisters for? I laugh, balancing the phone on my shoulder. How's my future niece or nephew treating you today? Like a soccer champ, Olivia groans. I swear, this kid's going for gold. I smile, listening to her. At 7 months pregnant, she's exhausted, and I know how much she's struggling. That's why I'm determined to stock her freezer with healthy, easy-to-heat meals. Just then, my mom, Karen, breezes into the kitchen. Isabella, darling, what's all this mess? I resist the urge to roll my eyes. I'm making freezer meals for Olivia. Oh, she raises an eyebrow, picking up a container of lasagna. This looks lovely. You know, my work group is having a potluck next week. Mom, these are for Olivia, I say firmly, gently taking the container from her. She purses her lips but shrugs it off. Well, I'm sure you could make extra. You know how important these work events are to me. As she sachets out, I share a knowing look with Olivia on the phone. We both know Mom's work events are just an excuse to show off and seek praise. Don't let her get to you, Olivia says softly. I won't, I promise, turning back to my cooking marathon. The weekend flies by in a blur of chopping, sautéing, and packaging. By Sunday evening, my chest freezer is packed with colorful meals, creamy chicken casseroles, veggie-packed quiches, hearty soups, and even some healthy desserts. Exhausted but proud, I collapse onto the couch and send a quick text to my boyfriend, Mark. Operation feed Olivia. Mission accomplished. His reply comes instantly. You're amazing, babe. Olivia's lucky to have you. I smile, feeling a warm glow of satisfaction. Sure, I'm tired, and my kitchen looks like a war zone, but knowing I've made my sister's life a little easier, totally worth it. As I drift off to sleep, I can't wait to see Olivia's face when I surprise her with all the food. The next day, after a busy day of event planning, I trudge up the stairs to my apartment, aching and eager to check on my packed freezer. I fumble with my keys, push open the door, and head straight for the kitchen. Time for a victory dance with My voice trails off as I stare at the open, empty chest freezer. What the hell? I blink, thinking I must be hallucinating from exhaustion. But no, the freezer is empty. Panic rises in my chest as I grab my phone and call my mom. Mom, quick question. You haven't been in my apartment today, have you? Oh, Isabella. Perfect timing. I was just about to call you. Your cooking was a huge hit at the bake sale. My stomach drops. Bake sale? What bake sale? The one for my work group, silly. I borrowed those meals you made. Hope you don't mind. It was for a good cause. I grip the phone tighter, my voice shaking. Mom, those weren't for a bake sale. They were for Olivia. I spent the entire weekend making them. Oh, don't be so dramatic. I'll replace them later. Anyway, I've got to run. Diane's giving me the eye about the copier again. Bye, sweetie. The line goes dead. I stand there, shock turning to anger. My phone buzzes with a text from Mark. K babe, how the big reveal go ? I call him immediately, words tumbling out as I explain everything. I can't believe she did this, Mark. Those weren't hers to take. I'm so sorry, babe. Want me to come over? Before I can answer Mark, there's a knock at my door. I open it to find Emily standing there, arms loaded with takeout bags. Thought you might need dinner and a sympathetic ear, she says, her smile fading as she sees my face. What's wrong? I wave her in, and as we settle on the couch, I fill her in on Mom's latest stunt. Emily's eyes widen. She did not, she gasps. God, I'm so sorry. This is low, even for her. Remember when she accidentally wore white to Olivia's wedding? Or when she told my high school boyfriend I had a contagious rash so he'd break up with me before prom? I say, stabbing at my low mien. Emily nods, grim. And don't forget when she misplaced Olivia's college acceptance letters because she didn't want her moving away. I sigh heavily. I just don't get it. Why is she like this? Before Emily can respond, my phone rings. It's Trevor, Olivia's husband. His voice is tense. Olivia's in tears. Your mom just called, bragging about some bake sale. Trev, I'm so sorry. I start, but he cuts me off. Hey, this isn't on you. We know what Karen's like. But I think we need to talk about setting some boundaries for the baby's sake. I nod, even though he can't see me. You're right, this can't keep happening. After we hang up, I turn to Emily, determination setting in. I need to confront her, at her office. Everyone should see who she really is. Emily raises an eyebrow. Are you sure? That's pretty intense. I'm done letting her get away with this stuff, I say firmly. It's time someone stood up to Karen Sullivan. As I start planning my confrontation, I can't help but wonder how we got here. How did my own mother become the villain in my life story? But one thing's for sure, I'm not backing down this time. Karen's reign of manipulation ends now. The next morning, I march into Mom's office building, my heart pounding but my resolve firm. The receptionist tries to stop me, but I breeze past her, heading straight for the marketing department. Where's Karen Sullivan? I demand, scanning the cubicles. Heads pop up, curious eyes following me. A woman points to a glass-walled conference room. Inside, I see Mom, holding court with a group of coworkers. Without hesitation, I burst in, interrupting her mid-sentence. Hey Mom, how was that bake sale? She blinks, caught off guard. Isabella, what are you doing here? Oh, I just thought I'd stop by and thank you for your generous donation to the cause. I say, my voice dripping with sarcasm. You know those meals you borrowed from my freezer? Her colleagues exchange confused glances. A woman I recognize as Diane leans forward. Karen, what's she talking about? Mom forces a laugh. Oh, it's nothing. Just a little misunderstanding. No, Mom, no more lies. I turn to the group, my voice steady. Those meals weren't for any bake sale. I spent an entire weekend making them for my pregnant sister. Mom took them without asking and lied about it. The room erupts in shocked whispers. Mom's face turns red. Isabella, that's enough. You're making a scene. You made the scene when you stole from your own daughters. I snap back. Diane stands up, her expression hard. Karen, is this true? Mom sputters, trying to backpedal, but the damage is done. I can see the disbelief and disappointment on her coworkers' faces. As I leave, I overhear Diane saying, this explains a lot. Remember that client report that mysteriously changed last month? Back home, I call Olivia. Her voice is thick with tears. I can't believe she did this. I'm so sorry, Liv, I say. I confronted her at work. I couldn't let it slide this time. There's a pause, then I hear Trevor's voice in the background. It's Trevor. Listen, we've been talking, and we think it's best if we limit contact with your mom for a while. For Olivia's health and the baby's. I nod, even though they can't see me. I understand. I think that's wise. Later that evening, Mark and Emily come over. We're sprawled on my living room floor, surrounded by baby shower catalogs and Pinterest boards. Okay, so we've got the venue booked for next month, Emily says, checking her list. Mark, you're on decoration duty. He salutes playfully. Aye, Captain. I promise not to go overboard with the rubber ducks. I laugh, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders. Guys, I can't thank you enough for helping with this. Mark pulls me into a hug. Hey, that's what we're here for. Olivia deserves an amazing shower, and we're going to make it happen. As we continue planning, my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. It's Diane from Mom's office. Internal investigation launched into Karen's past projects. Thought you should know. I show the message to Mark and Emily. Emily whistles low. Looks like karma's finally catching up to her. I nod, a mix of emotions swirling inside me. Part of me feels guilty for setting this in motion, but a stronger part of me feels relieved, like maybe, finally, Mom will face the consequences of her actions. You did the right thing, Mark says softly, squeezing my hand. Sometimes love means standing up to the people who hurt us. I squeeze back, grateful for their support. As we dive back into planning the baby shower, I feel a glimmer of hope. Maybe out of all this mess, something beautiful can grow. A stronger bond with Olivia, a life free from Mom's manipulation, and a chance to create the loving, supportive family we've always deserved. The weeks following the confrontation are a whirlwind. One day, While putting the finishing touches on Olivia's baby shower decorations, my phone buzzes. It's Diane again. Just thought you should know, Karen's been demoted. The audit revealed some discrepancies in her past projects. I take a deep breath, processing the news. Thanks for letting me know, Diane. As I hang up, Mark walks in, arms full of pastel balloons. Everything okay? He asks. I nod slowly. Yeah, I think so. Mom's facing the music at work. He sets down the balloons and pulls me into a hug. How do you feel about that? Honestly, relieved, a little sad, but mostly free. The day of the baby shower arrives and the venue looks magical. Soft fairy lights twinkle and delicate flower arrangements adorn every table. When Olivia walks in, her eyes widen in surprise. Oh my God, this is incredible. I guide her to the seat of honor, grinning. Just wait till you see what's next. As the party progresses, filled with laughter and games, I slip away to the kitchen. With Emily's help, I wheel out a cart laden with carefully prepared frozen meals. Surprise, round 2, I announce. Olivia's eyes fill with tears. You didn't have to. I wanted to, I say firmly, hugging her tight. You deserve all the support in the world, sis. Later, as we clean up, Olivia pulls me aside. Have you heard from Mom? I shake my head. Not yet. You. She called once, I didn't pick up. Olivia sighs. I think we need to keep our distance for a while. For the baby's sake, and our own. I nod, feeling a mix of sadness and resolve. I think you're right. Months pass, and I throw myself into my work, eventually landing a huge contract for a tech company's product launch. The day I sign the deal, I get another call. It's Trevor. It's time. We're heading to the hospital now. Hours later, I'm by Olivia's side, coaching her through contractions. You've got this, sis. You're doing amazing. With one final push, a cry fills the room. Olivia collapses back, exhausted but beaming. It's a girl, the doctor announces. As I cut the cord, overwhelmed with emotion, I can't help but think about Mom. She's missing this moment, this joy. But it's a consequence of her own actions. In the quiet of the recovery room, Olivia cradles her daughter. We're naming her Isabella, she says softly, her eyes filled with love. After the strongest, most loving person we know. I choke back tears, touched beyond words. Weeks later, I'm babysitting little Izzy while Olivia naps. My phone pings with a news alert. Mom's old company is announcing major restructuring after financial irregularities were discovered. I know, without reading further, that Mom is finally facing the full consequences of her actions. As I rock Izzy, humming softly, a realization washes over me. The family I always wanted, the love and support I craved. It's right here. Not in the twisted manipulations of our mother, but in the bonds we've chosen to nurture. Olivia pads into the room, smiling sleepily. How's my girl? Perfect, I say, passing Izzy to her. Both of them. As we sit together, cooing over the baby, a sense of peace settles over me. We've weathered the storm, exposed the toxicity that once plagued our lives, and in its place, we've built something beautiful. A family founded on love, trust, and unwavering support. Hi, I'm Julia. Let me take you back to that sunny Saturday. It started like any other, but ended up changing everything. As I pulled into my brother Ethan's driveway, I felt a mix of excitement and nerves. It had been a while since the whole family gathered, and I was eager to see everyone, especially since I had just landed my new job as a manager at a top marketing firm. My old car, a 2002 blue sedan, was packed with bags of chips and homemade salsa. It wasn't much to look at, but it was mine, paid off and reliable. As soon as I got out, Ethan was the first to greet me. Hey, Jules, we were starting to think you bailed on us. Never, I laughed, handing over the snacks. Traffic was a nightmare. Walking into the backyard, the smell of grilled burgers hit me. And there was Vanessa, Ethan's wife, looking like she just stepped out of a magazine shoot in her summer dress and designer sunglasses. My parents waved from the grill, and my younger siblings, Mike and Sarah, were setting up outdoor games. Finally, the guest of honor arrives. Vanessa called out, her voice loud enough for the neighbors to hear. She glanced at my car, parked next to their brand new SUV. Couldn't you park that relic around the block, Jules? It's killing my view. A few of my cousins chuckled as I tried to laugh it off. Well, it gets me from A to B, I replied. Vanessa sighed dramatically, taking a sip of her cocktail. Oh, honey, you really should treat yourself. You're a manager now, aren't you? Act like it. I started to say something, my news about the new job still fresh. But Vanessa had already moved on, gathering a group to announce the start of a game. I stood there, her words stinging, until Ethan caught my eye and shrugged apologetically, mouthing, "Don't let her get to you." The afternoon went on with the usual barbecue fun, games, mingling, and catching up. But Vanessa's comment gnawed at me. It wasn't just about the car, it was her way of reminding me where I stood in her world. As we all sat down to eat, the conversation buzzed with updates from everyone's lives. I shared my job news, receiving congratulations and questions from family, all while Vanessa played up her role at the same company. She had no idea the bombshell I was about to drop. "So, Julia, it must be a big step up from your old gig, huh?" Vanessa said with a smirk. "Hopefully they're paying you enough to upgrade that car soon." She nudged Ethan as she spoke. Before I could respond, my mom interjected. "We're all so proud of Julia. She's worked hard for this." The meal went on with laughter and stories, but tension simmered just below the surface. As the sun set and people started saying their goodbyes, I helped clean up, all the while thinking about Vanessa's arrogance and the reality of what awaited on Monday. That Monday morning, walking into the sleek glass building, my stomach was in knots. First days are always nerve-wracking, but this one was different. I was stepping into a managerial role at one of the most prestigious marketing firms in the city. The receptionist greeted me warmly. "Good morning, Julia. They're ready for you upstairs." Stepping out of the elevator, I was greeted with applause from my new team. The director, Mr. Carter, shook my hand. "Everyone, let's officially welcome Julia as your new project manager." The room buzzed with excitement, but my eyes quickly found Vanessa. She was clapping, but her smile was tight and her applause hesitant. She hadn't known I would be her new boss until this very moment. "Let's catch up after this, Julia," Vanessa said, her tone a mix of surprise and forced cheerfulness. "Sure, let's do that," I replied, calm and composed, though my emotions swirled beneath the surface. After the meeting, as everyone returned to their desks, Vanessa lingered. Her steps were slow, her usual confidence diminished. "Julia, about the barbecue, I hope there are no hard feelings," she said softly, a far cry from her usual boldness. "Vanessa, let's keep our focus on work," I said, my tone professional. "Personal matters stay outside these walls," I replied with a polite yet distant smile. "Of course, Julia, you're right," Vanessa nodded, though her eyes darted away, barely masking her unease. Over the next few days, I dived into project files and performance reports. Vanessa's work required special attention. There were inconsistencies in her project timelines and budget allocations that didn't add up. During one of our one-on-ones, I decided to address it directly. "Vanessa, I've noticed some discrepancies in the Smith account. Can you walk me through your process here?" I asked. "Sure, I mean it's probably just minor oversights. You know how it goes, deadlines and all," she laughed nervously, fidgeting with her pen. "Minor or not, accuracy is crucial, Vanessa. We can't afford mistakes, especially with high-profile clients. Let's go over this together, shall we?" My tone was firm, leaving little room for excuses. "Yes, absolutely. I'll pull up the details now," she said, her fingers trembling slightly as she tapped on her keyboard. As we reviewed the files, it became clear that Vanessa was cutting corners. Her work barely skimmed acceptable standards. Each session revealed more gaps, and I documented everything meticulously, preparing for the inevitable. In our next meeting, I laid out the documented discrepancies. "Vanessa, based on these reviews, I see a pattern of oversight that needs to be corrected immediately." "I understand, Julia. I'll make sure to tighten things up." "Thanks for pointing these out," she responded, her tone a mix of gratitude and discomfort. I nodded. "Let's ensure it doesn't continue. Our clients and our team rely on our diligence." As she left my office, the weight of the situation seemed to settle on her shoulders. For me, it was about protecting the integrity of our work, but I couldn't help but feel a faint twinge of satisfaction. Justice, in its own way, was being served. That following Monday, the stakes were high, not just for me, but for Vanessa too. Today was her proving ground. She walked in, clutching her oversized designer bag and a stack of files, her heels clicking assertively on the polished floor. "About a minute?" I beckoned her into my office, my tone purposeful. Sure thing, she replied, smoothing her blouse as she sat down. I'm putting you in charge of the Henderson project, I said, laying out the project details in front of her. It's small but crucial. Think of it as an opportunity to showcase your skills. Vanessa's eyes flicked up, a mix of nervousness and excitement shining in them. Really? Thanks, Julia. I won't let you down. I nodded, watching her closely. I'll be guiding you through it, but I want to see what you can do when you're leading. As the days rolled on, I kept a close watch on her progress. Meetings were frequent, and I documented every decision and approval. Vanessa's initial enthusiasm began to wane as the pressure mounted. During one of our strategy sessions, I asked Vanessa during our last review, you mentioned outsourcing some of the graphics work. Have you vetted the vendor properly? Oh yeah, they're good. I think they'll be fine, she replied hastily. It's crucial they're more than just fine. Can you share the vetting process you followed? I pressed, knowing any misstep now would be on record. She fumbled through her files, her facade of confidence slipping. I'll get that info to you by the end of the day. I just didn't bring the paperwork with me right now. Days turned into weeks, and the project deadline loomed. In a team meeting, it was Vanessa's turn to present her progress. The room was full, and the air was thick with anticipation. Vanessa stood at the front, her report in hand, but her usual poise was absent. All right, let's see. For the marketing strategy, we're planning to. She stumbled over her words. Her report lacked the depth and clarity expected. Mr. Carter, seated in the corner, raised his eyebrows and gave me a slight nod. This was the moment. Vanessa, I interjected, could you elaborate on how the budget was allocated? There seemed to be some discrepancies between your report and the initial estimates. Her face flushed. Well, I had to make some last-minute changes. The costs, they kind of got away from me. I see. It's crucial we stick to the planned budgets, especially with new clients, I remarked, turning to share a look with the team. It's important we all learn from this. The meeting ended, and as the team shuffled out, murmurs of concern about the project's status filled the room. Vanessa lingered, her defeat almost palpable. Julia, I tried to handle it. I don't know what went wrong, she confessed, her voice low. Managing projects is about oversight and adaptability, Vanessa. Let's discuss how we can rectify this, I said, my tone firm but not unkind. I knew this moment wasn't just about her failure, it was about setting a standard for everyone. Vanessa nodded, agreeing to meet later. I documented everything carefully. Her mismanagement was now evident to the entire team. Though I took no pleasure in her struggle, I knew it was necessary to protect the company and its clients. This was about justice, not revenge. Upholding professional standards was key. The day after that disastrous meeting, the office was eerily quiet. As I made my way to my desk, whispers trailed behind me like a shadow. Vanessa, pacing by the water cooler, intercepted me before I could sit down. This was a setup, wasn't it? You've been out to get me from the start, she accused, her voice tense and strained with anger and confusion. I gave you an opportunity, Vanessa. The outcome was in your hands, not mine, I replied, calm and measured against her rising tone. But you watched me fail. You could have helped more, you could have guided me, she said, desperation creeping into her voice. Helping is one thing, doing your job for you is another. We all have to meet our standards, and unfortunately, you didn't meet yours, I said. She scoffed, throwing her hands up in frustration. So that's it, huh? You're just going to watch me go down. I document everyone's performance, Vanessa. It's not personal, it's my job. Later that afternoon, Mr. Carter called us into his office. The atmosphere was thick, almost suffocating, as Vanessa and I sat across from him. He laid out the papers I had compiled, mismanaged budgets, unvetted vendors, timeline discrepancies. After reviewing the evidence and considering Julia's observations, we've decided it's best for the company that we part ways with you, Vanessa, he said firmly. Her face went pale, the fire in her eyes extinguished by the weight of the decision. I understand, was all she could manage, her voice barely a whisper. The news of Vanessa's termination spread quickly. At the next family gathering, the mood was mixed. My brother Ethan approached me as I poured myself some coffee. I know it's been rough, Jules. Are you okay? His concern was genuine, and it touched me. I did what was necessary, Ethan. It wasn't about revenge, it was about integrity. He nodded, clapping a hand on my shoulder. I know, sis, and I think, deep down, everyone else knows too. Our parents, ever supportive, made no comment on Vanessa's absence, choosing instead to focus on the family being together. As the night wore on, the heaviness lifted somewhat, laughter and chatter filling the space between us. Driving home later, the quiet hum of my old reliable car gave me a moment to reflect. Sitting in the driver's seat, watching the streetlights blur past, I considered everything that had happened. My job had demanded tough choices, ones that affected not just me, but the people around me. While I never sought to hurt Vanessa personally, my role was clear: uphold a standard. Ensuring justice at work meant making hard decisions, even if they impacted family. And while the weight of those decisions was heavy, I drove on knowing I'd done my job with as much fairness and integrity as I could muster. The road ahead was clear, guided by the principles I valued most. And that wraps up our story. What do you think? Was Julia right in her handling of Vanessa's situation, strictly upholding her professional duties? Or could she have been more supportive despite their past issues? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more content like this. Your support keeps these stories coming. Hey there, I'm Jessica, a 30-year-old powerhouse lawyer crushing it in the Big Apple. Life's great now, but it wasn't always smooth sailing. I lost my parents in a tragic car accident when I was just a kid. That's when Grandma Evelyn stepped in and raised me. She's been my rock ever since. It's Christmas time, and I'm heading to her mansion for our annual family get-together. I can't wait to give her the special gift I found, a vintage brooch just like the one her mother used to wear. She's going to love it. I pull up to the mansion and wow, Evelyn's really outdone herself this year. Lights everywhere. A huge wreath on the door, the whole deal. Grabbing my bags and the gift, I take a deep breath and ring the doorbell. Jessica, darling. Come in, come in. Evelyn greets me with a warm hug. Let me look at you. New York is treating you well. I see. I laugh. Can't complain, Grandma. The firm's keeping me busy, but I wouldn't miss this for the world. As I step inside, I see my cousin Tyler sprawled on the couch, eyes glued to his phone. Typical. Yo, Jess. I roll my eyes. Still the chatterbox, I see. Megan, Tyler's sister, comes flying down the stairs. Jessica, oh my God, I love your boots. Where did you get them? Before I can answer, Uncle Robert walks in from the kitchen with drinks in hand. Well, if it isn't the prodigal niece finally gracing us with her presence. I force a smile. Nice to see you too, Uncle Robert. How's the car dealership? He grunts, taking a swig of his drink. It'd be better if people still bought American. Karen, his wife, appears, all smiles and fake cheer. Now, Robert, let's not start. Jessica, honey, it's so good to see you. Can I get you something to drink? I shake my head. I'm good, thanks, Karen. Where should I put my stuff? Evelyn pipes up, oh, I've got you in your old room, dear. Tyler, be a gentleman and help your cousin with her bags. Tyler groans but stands up. As we head upstairs, I can't shake the feeling something's off. In my room, Tyler drops the bags and lingers. So, Jess, how long are you staying this time? I raise an eyebrow. Through New Year's like always. Why? He shrugs, avoiding eye contact. No reason. Just, maybe don't get too comfortable, you know. Before I can ask what that's about, he's out the door. What the hell was that? I start unpacking, my mind racing. There's always been tension with Uncle Robert, but this feels different. I shake it off, focusing on the good stuff. Evelyn's reaction to her gift, catching up with Megan, maybe even chatting with Karen if I can pull her away from Robert for 5 minutes. As I head back downstairs, I overhear Robert and Evelyn whispering. Mom, you can't keep babying her. She's a grown woman, for Christ's sake. That's enough, Robert. Jessica is as much a part of his family as you are, and I won't hear another word about it. I clear my throat as I enter the room, and they both jump. Evelyn recovers first, smiling brightly. There you are, dear. Come sit by me and tell me all about New York. I sit beside her, feeling Robert's glare burning into me. Whatever's going on, this is shaping up to be one hell of a Christmas. Christmas Eve dinner is in full swing, and Evelyn's pulled out all the stops. The dining room looks like something straight out of a Martha Stewart magazine. Crystal glasses, fine china, the works. We're digging into Evelyn's famous honey glazed ham when Robert decides to run his mouth. So, Jessica, how's that big shot law firm treating you? Still just pushing papers, or have they let you into a real courtroom yet? I take a sip of wine to keep from telling him off. Actually, Uncle Robert, I just won a major corporate fraud case last month. Maybe you've heard of it. Robert's face goes red, but before he can snap back, Evelyn claps her hands. All right, everyone, time for presents. We all gather in the living room as Evelyn starts handing out gifts. She's really gone all out this year. Tyler gets a fancy smartwatch, Megan's squealing over designer shoes, Karen's unwrapping a spa package, and Robert's got what looks like a Rolex. I'm sitting there, grinning, waiting for my turn. Evelyn keeps handing out more gifts to everyone, and I'm sitting there thinking, maybe she's saving mine for last, right? Wrong. She stands up, dusting her hands off, and says, well, that's everything. I blink, confused. Grandma, did you forget something? She turns to me, and for a moment, I don't even recognize her. Her eyes are cold, her voice flat. No gift for you, Jessica. The room falls silent. It feels like I've been slapped. What? Grandma? I don't understand. Is this some kind of joke? Evelyn shakes her head, her face hard as stone. No joke. You don't deserve a gift this year. I look around the room, desperate for someone to speak up. Megan and Tyler stare at the floor. Karen looks like she'd rather sink into the couch. And Robert, he's smirking like he's just won the lottery. I stand, my legs shaking. Evelyn, please. What's going on? What did I do? She won't even meet my eyes. I think it's best if you leave, Jessica. Leave? But it's Christmas Eve. This is my home. Robert stands up, puffing out his chest. You heard her. Time for you to go. Tears well up, my voice cracking. Grandma, please talk to me. Whatever I did, I'm sorry. Just tell me what's wrong. Without turning around, she says, goodbye, Jessica. I stumble out of the room, grabbing my coat and keys. As I fumble with the front door, I hear Robert's voice behind me, dripping with satisfaction. Merry Christmas, Jessica. Drive safe now. I make it to my car before completely breaking down, tears blurring my vision as I speed out of the driveway. I can barely think straight, barely see the road, but somehow I end up at a 24-hour diner on the edge of town. My hands are shaking so badly I can hardly unlock my phone. I hit speed dial. Mike, it's me. I need you. His voice is groggy, but he's wide awake in seconds. Jess, what's wrong? Are you okay? I spill everything, my voice choked with sobs. Mike listens quietly, then says, Jess, that's messed up. Where are you? I'm coming to get you. No, I'm okay. I don't know what to do. It's like Evelyn's a different person. And Robert, God, you should have seen his face. He looked so satisfied. Mike pauses, his tone serious. Jess, something's not right. This isn't like Evelyn at all. We're going to figure this out, okay? But first, you need to be somewhere safe. Do you have a hotel nearby? I nod, forgetting he can't see me. Yeah, there's a Holiday Inn down the road. I'll get a room. Good. Get some rest. Tomorrow we start digging. Nobody messes with my best friend and gets away with it. I hang up, still a wreck, but Mike's words spark something in me. Whatever the hell's going on, I'm going to find out. Robert might think he's won, but he has no idea who he's messing with. The next morning, I wake up in a hotel feeling like I've been run over by a truck. My phone's buzzing with messages from Mike. He's already at a local coffee shop, ready to start our investigation. I drag myself out of bed, throw on some clothes, and head out. When I get there, Mike's waiting with a large coffee and a determined look. All right, Jess, let's break this down. When did you first notice something off with Evelyn? I sip my coffee, thinking back. Honestly, not until last night. She was fine when I got there. It's like someone flipped a switch. Mike nods, typing away on his laptop. Okay, so it's recent. What about Robert? Has he been acting differently? He's always been a jerk, but yeah, last night he seemed smug, like he was waiting for something. We spend the next few hours digging into Robert's background. Mike's got some connections at the courthouse, and what we find is shocking. Holy crap, Jess. Your uncle's dealership is sinking. He's got tax liens, defaulted loans, everything. I lean back stunned. So he's broke. But what does that have to do with Evelyn and me? Mike gives me a knowing look. Think about it. If Robert's broke, where's he going to get money? It hits me like a freight train. The inheritance. That son of a... Just then, my phone buzzes. It's Tyler. Yo, Jess, you got a minute? Me and Meg need to talk to you. I meet my cousins at a nearby park, and they both look nervous as hell. Megan speaks first. Jess, we're so sorry about last night. We didn't know what to do. Tyler nods. Yeah, it was messed up. Look, we overheard Dad talking to Mom. He's been feeding Grandma all sorts of lies about you. My blood runs cold. What kind of lies? Megan looks away, ashamed. He told her you've been embezzling from your law firm, that you're facing disbarment. He even showed her fake documents. Tyler jumps in, and that's not all. He convinced Grandma to change her will. He cut you out completely. I'm shaking with anger. That explains the no gift. Evelyn thinks I'm a criminal. Back at the coffee shop, I fill Mike in. He's livid. We need to expose this. Just as we're piecing it all together, my phone rings. It's Karen, and she's whispering. Jessica, I need to see you in person. It's about Robert. We meet at a diner on the outskirts of town. She looks exhausted, like she hasn't slept in days. Jessica, I can't take it anymore. Robert's gone too far. She slides a folder across the table. Inside are fake bank statements, a forged letter from my firm's HR department, even a phony police report. Everything he's been using to frame me as a white-collar criminal. He's been planning this for months, Karen says, her voice trembling. I should have said something sooner, but I was scared. He's not the man I married anymore. I squeeze her hand. It's okay, Karen. You're doing the right thing now. Back with Mike, we start piecing everything together. Robert, desperate for cash, fabricates this entire story to turn Evelyn against me and secure the inheritance for himself. Mike leans back, a glint of determination in his eye. All right, Jess, we've got the evidence. Now we need a plan to expose this bastard and clear your name. I nod, the fire inside me burning hotter. I've got an idea, but we'll need Tyler, Megan, and Karen's help. And maybe a few hidden cameras. As we hash out the details, I can't help but smile. Robert thinks he's won, but he has no idea what's coming. Standing outside Evelyn's mansion, I take a deep breath. Mike's voice crackles in my earpiece. You got this, Jess. I ring the doorbell, and Evelyn answers, her face cold and distant. Jessica, what are you doing here? I've come to apologize, Grandma. Can we talk? As a family? She hesitates, then nods, stepping aside to let me in. Robert is lounging in the living room, looking smug, while Tyler, Megan, and Karen sit nearby, all in on the plan. Well, come to beg for forgiveness. Robert sneers. I stand tall, locking eyes with him. Actually, Uncle Robert, I'm here to clear the air and to show everyone who you really are. His face drains of color as I pull out the folder Karen gave me. What's that? He stammers. Evidence of your lies. Fake documents, forged statements, all part of your scheme to turn Evelyn against me and secure your inheritance. Evelyn's eyes widen. What is she talking about, Robert? Robert jumps up, sputtering. She's lying. You can't believe her. Oh, can it, Dad? Tyler cuts in. We heard you bragging about it. Megan nods, her voice steady. Yeah, you've gone too far this time. Karen stands, her voice shaking but resolute. I can't do this anymore, Robert. I'm leaving you. Robert's face twists with rage. Ungrateful brats. After everything I've done for this family, none of you deserve. He stops mid-sentence, realizing what he's just said. But it's too late. Evelyn steps forward, her eyes blazing. Robert, how could you? My own son. Mom, I can explain. Save it? Evelyn snaps. She turns to me, tears in her eyes. Jessica, I'm so sorry. I should have known better. I hug her tightly. It's okay, Grandma. We're going to be okay. As Robert tries to storm out, karma hits him hard. He slips on a patch of ice in the driveway and goes down, howling in pain. We watch as the ambulance arrives. As they load Robert in, still moaning about his leg and demanding a lawyer, Evelyn makes a call. Yes, I'd like to report a case of elder abuse and fraud. Later, gathered around the Christmas tree, Evelyn hands me a small box. I believe this belongs to you, dear. Inside are the keys to the mansion. I smile, feeling the warmth of family, real family surrounding me. Merry Christmas, everyone, I say, raising a glass. Here's to new beginnings. And that's the end of the story, folks. Now, I've got a question for you. If you were in Evelyn's shoes, would you press charges against Robert, or would you try to keep it in the family and handle it privately? This isn't just about justice. It's about trust and the consequences of betrayal. What would you do? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm dying to hear what you think about this mess. And hey, if you enjoyed this wild ride, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Let's keep this conversation going. Hi, I'm Diana. Life's been pretty good to me, I have to admit. I've got an amazing job as a marketing executive, a loving husband named Tom, and two incredible kids, Noel, who's 12, and Liam, who's 8. We live in a beautiful neighborhood just outside of Chicago, and I'm not going to lie, we tend to turn heads when we go out as a family. Just the other day at the park, this woman came up to me and said, "Your children are so beautiful and well-behaved. You must be so proud." I smiled and thanked her, but inside I was beaming. It wasn't the first time we've heard that kind of compliment. Noelle has always been a bit of a genius. Just last week, she came home waving a piece of paper. Mom, I got the highest score in my class on the math test." I hugged her tight, my heart swelling with pride. That's my girl. We're going to celebrate big time. Liam isn't far behind in his own way either. He has a gift for science that sometimes leaves me speechless. Just yesterday, he was explaining something complicated about planets that went right over my head. "And that's why Saturn has rings, Mom," he said, his eyes glowing with excitement. Tom and I make a great team. He's always been supportive of my career, and I make sure I'm there for all the important moments with the kids. We're not perfect, but honestly, we're pretty close. Then, there's my sister-in-law, Monica. She's family. She visits a lot with her kids, Jenna and Kyle. They're good kids, but sometimes I catch Monica giving us this strange look, like something's bothering her. "Diana, your house is always so perfect. How do you manage it all?" she asked the last time she was over. Her voice was sweet, but there was this sharpness underneath. I just laughed it off, saying, "Oh, lots of coffee and late nights." But after that, odd things started happening whenever she came around. Noel's favorite doll disappeared, only to turn up in the trash later. Monica claimed she saw Noelle throw it away herself. But that didn't sound like my daughter at all. Another time, Liam's science project was mysteriously knocked over right before the school fair. Monica had been the only one in the room, but she swore she hadn't touched it. I tried to brush it off, she's family, right? But a nagging feeling kept gnawing at me. Anyway, I got bigger things to worry about. Noelle just won the regional spelling bee, and I'm planning a big celebration for her. Balloons, cake, everything. I want her to know how proud we are. "Mom, do we have to invite Aunt Monica?" Noelle asked when I told her about the party. "Honey, she's family. Of course we do," I said, even though that uneasy feeling crept back into my stomach. The day of Noelle's party arrived, and the house was buzzing with excitement. Balloons filled the living room, and the smell of freshly baked cake filled the air. I was putting the last touches on the decorations when Monica walked in with her kids. "Diana, you've really outdone yourself this time," she said, her eyes scanning the room. "Thanks, Monica. We're just so proud of Noelle," I replied, keeping my tone friendly. As the guests began to arrive, I noticed Noelle looking a little anxious. "You okay, sweetie?" I asked. "Yeah, Mom, just a bit overwhelmed," she admitted. That's when Monica swooped in. "Why don't I help you get ready, Noelle? We can fix your hair upstairs before the photos." Before I could say anything, they were already heading up the stairs. I should have trusted my gut, but I was too busy greeting guests to stop and think. About 20 minutes later, I heard a commotion upstairs, and when Noelle came down, my heart nearly stopped. Her long, beautiful hair, the hair she'd been growing for years, was chopped off in jagged chunks, barely reaching her shoulders. Tears streamed down her face. "What happened?" I gasped, rushing to her side. Monica followed behind, scissors still in hand. "Oh, Noelle wanted a new look for her big day. Isn't it cute?" she said, her voice unnervingly casual. "No, I didn't," Noelle sobbed. "She just started cutting." I felt a wave of anger boiling inside me. "Monica, what were you thinking?" She asked me to do it. Monica insisted, but her eyes darted away from mine, avoiding any real confrontation. I wanted to scream, to throw her out of my house on the spot, but I could feel the eyes of our guests on us. For Noel's sake, I swallowed my rage. Let's just try to enjoy the party, I managed to say, though my voice trembled. As the party went on, I couldn't focus on anything. Every time I caught a glimpse of Noelle, her eyes red and puffy, forcing a smile for the guests, it broke my heart. Then, I overheard Monica talking to our neighbor Susan. It's such a shame about Noelle's hair, but some kids just aren't meant to have long hair. It was always so stringy anyway, Monica said, her tone filled with fake sympathy. I clenched my fists, biting my tongue to stop the sharp words I wanted to fling at her. But then something clicked. The missing doll, Liam's ruined science project. It all made sense now. These weren't coincidences or accidents. Monica had been deliberately trying to hurt my children. After the last guest left, I found Noelle curled up on her bed, still in her party dress, quietly crying. "Oh, sweetie," I whispered, sitting beside her and gently stroking what was left of her hair. "Why would Aunt Monica do this, Mom?" she asked between sobs. "I don't have baby, but I promise you, I'm going to find out," I vowed, anger and determination swelling within me, "and I'll make sure she never hurts you or anyone else in this family again." As I held my daughter, my mind raced. How long had this been going on? What else had Monica done behind our backs? One thing was clear, this wasn't over, not by a long shot. After that disastrous party, I couldn't just sit back. I needed answers. I started discreetly reaching out to family and friends, asking casual questions about Monica. "Hey Sarah, has Monica ever said anything odd about us?" I asked one of our close friends. Sarah hesitated. "Well, she did mention that Noelle struggles in school." "But that can't be true, right?" My blood boiled. Noelle was a straight-A student. What else had Monica been saying? Next, I called Tom's mother. "Mom, have you noticed anything strange about Monica lately?" Tom's mom sighed. "I didn't want to cause trouble, but I've seen her pocket a few small things from your house, like a figurine or a piece of jewelry." I was floored. Monica had been stealing from us. When I started checking around, I realized several small valuables were indeed missing. The final straw came when Liam's big science fair was approaching. He'd been working on his project for months. One afternoon, Monica offered to help him adjust a part of it. "I'll just tweak this," she said, reaching for a crucial component. "Monica, wait." I called out, rushing over. I caught her just in time. She was about to break a key part of Liam's project. That night, after everyone had gone to bed, I made a decision. I installed hidden cameras around the house. It felt wrong, but I had to protect my family. The footage I captured was horrifying. Monica rummaging through our drawers, whispering cruel things to the kids when no one was around, and even trying to cause accidents. In one recording, she told Noelle, "Your mom only loves you because you're smart. Better keep those grades up." I was livid. How dare she manipulate my children like that? But the real bombshell came when I overheard Monica on the phone while she was in our guest bathroom. "I know I owe you money," she hissed. "I just need more time." Curious, I started digging. It turned out Monica was in deep debt, gambling and spending far beyond her means. Was that why she had been stealing from us? As I pieced everything together, a plan began forming in my mind. I couldn't let Monica keep hurting my family. It was time to expose her for who she really was. I set up a family dinner and invited Monica and her husband over. I made sure to leave some tempting valuables in plain sight, and the hidden cameras were ready. As I prepared for the dinner, my heart raced. This was it. Tonight, everything would change. Monica had no idea what was coming. The night of the dinner arrived, and I felt a mix of nerves and resolve. I had invited Tom's parents, my closest friend Sarah, and of course, Monica and her husband Steve. As everyone settled in, I subtly steered the conversation. "So, Noelle, how's that advanced math class going?" I asked. Noelle beamed. "Great, Mom. I got the highest score on our last test." I saw Monica's eye twitch and she muttered, "Well, not everyone can be good at everything." As the night went on, I kept highlighting my kids' achievements, and with each comment, Monica grew more agitated. Finally, she snapped. "Oh, please, your kids aren't that special. Noelle is probably cheating on those tests and Liam's science projects. We all know you do them for him." The room went silent. That's when I stood up. I think it's time we all saw something, I said, turning on the TV. The hidden camera footage began playing. Everyone watched in horror as Monica's true nature was revealed. The stealing, the cruel words to my children, the attempted sabotage. Tom's mother gasped. My pearl necklace. Monica, how could you? Steve turned to his wife, his face pale. What's this about owing money? Monica, are we in debt? Monica's face crumbled. I can explain. But there was no explaining away what we'd all seen. As her world unraveled, she turned to me, her eyes pleading. Diana, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I cut her off. No, Monica, you don't get to apologize. You've been hurting my family for years. It stops now. Tom stood beside me, his arm around my waist. I think it's best if you leave, Monica, and don't come back. As Monica and Steve left, the family rallied around us. Tom's parents hugged the kids, apologizing for not realizing what had been happening sooner. Sarah squeezed my hand, telling me how brave I was for standing up. In the weeks that followed, word spread that Steve had filed for divorce after uncovering the full extent of Monica's gambling debts. There was even talk of legal action for the thefts. 6 months later, life had changed dramatically. Noelle's hair had grown back, and she was thriving in school, more confident than ever. Liam had won the science fair, beaming with pride at his accomplishment. One night, as I tucked the kids in, Noelle looked up at me. Mom, I'm glad Aunt Monica's gone. I feel safer now. I hugged her tight. Me too, sweetie, me too. Later, cuddling with Tom on the couch, I reflected on everything we had been through. You know, I said, as awful as all of this was, I think it made us stronger. Tom nodded. We protected our family. That's what matters most. I smiled, feeling more united and resilient than ever. We had faced the storm and come out stronger on the other side. And if anything like this ever happened again, I knew we'd be ready. Because nothing and no one was going to hurt my family again. Now I have a question for you. If you were in Diana's shoes, would you have exposed Monica's actions publicly at the family dinner, or would you have confronted her privately first? What do you think are the ethical implications of using hidden cameras to gather evidence against a family member? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective could help others who might be dealing with toxic family situations. If you found this story engaging, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more compelling content. Your support helps us continue sharing thought-provoking stories. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to reading your responses. Hey there, I'm Sarah Thompson, I began, a nervous smile tugging at my lips. I'm 35, a marketing executive, and happily married to my amazing husband, Mark. We've been together for 7 years, and life's been good, except for one thing. We've been trying to have a baby for what feels like forever. Sarah, honey, Mark's voice broke through the silence one evening, after yet another negative pregnancy test. Maybe we should think about adoption. I sighed, the familiar ache in my chest deepening. I know, but I'm just not ready to give up yet. There's still that new fertility clinic Dr. Roberts recommended. Mark wrapped his arms around me, his voice gentle. Whatever you want, babe. I'm with you all the way. That was Mark, always supportive, unlike my older brother, Eric, and as if on cue, the devil himself waltzed in without warning. Little sis, how's the baby making going? Eric's booming voice filled the living room as he made himself at home, uninvited, like always. I forced a smile. Eric, what a surprise, I replied, though it wasn't. We're still trying. He flopped down on the couch, helping himself to a beer from our fridge. You know, Mom and Dad aren't getting any younger. They're always talking about wanting grandkids. Thanks for the reminder, I muttered under my breath. Completely oblivious, Eric kept going. By the way, did you hear? They're thinking about revising their will, something about the family legacy. My ears perked up. Our parents, Richard and Eleanor Thompson, had built a successful real estate empire. I'd never cared much about the money, but Eric's tone made me uneasy. What do you mean, revising the will? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Eric shrugged, too casually. You know how they are, always planning for the future. Probably want to make sure their grandkids are taken care of. The way he emphasized grandkids made my skin crawl. I quickly changed the subject. but his words lingered long after he left. Later that week, I met up with my best friend Lisa for coffee. As soon as I walked into the cafe, she could tell something was off. "Spill it, Sarah. What's going on?" I recounted Eric's visit, along with the weird vibe I got from him. Lisa listened carefully, her brow furrowed. "Sarah, I don't want to freak you out, but be careful around Eric. Something about this doesn't sit right with me." "I know," I admitted, grateful for her concern. "It's just, it feels like he sees me as some kind of competition. It's ridiculous." "Trust your gut, honey. And remember, you've got people in your corner." Speaking of which, any news from the fertility clinic? A small smile crept onto my face. "Actually, yeah, we're starting a new treatment next week. Fingers crossed." As I left the cafe, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to change. Little did I know just how much. After years of trying, Mark and I were finally expecting. 5 months along, and I was walking on air. My baby bump was showing, and I felt like I was glowing from the inside out. "You look radiant, sweetheart," Mom said as I walked into their mansion for a celebratory dinner. Dad stood beside her, beaming with pride. "Thanks, Mom. I feel amazing." I rubbed my belly affectionately. The house was decorated for the occasion, streamers, balloons, the works. As I made my way upstairs to freshen up, I heard unsteady footsteps behind me. Well, if it isn't the golden child." Eric's slurred voice made me freeze. I turned to see him, disheveled and reeking of alcohol. "Eric, are you drunk?" I asked, heart racing as he stumbled closer. "You think you're so clever, don't you? Getting knocked up just to secure your inheritance." "What are you talking about?" I backed away, panic rising. "Don't play dumb." His words were sharp, venomous. "I heard Mom and Dad talking about changing the will, all because you're popping out a brat." Anger surged through me. "This baby isn't about money, Eric. How dare you?" "How dare I?" he sneered, moving closer. "How dare you manipulate our parents like this?" "You're being ridiculous," I said, trying to push past him. "Let me through." That's when it happened. Eric's face twisted in rage, and before I could react, his hands shoved me hard. I felt myself falling, tumbling down the stairs as time seemed to slow. Step after step, my body hit hard. I heard screaming. Was that me? And then, darkness. I didn't know how long I was out. When I finally woke, I was in a hospital bed, machines beeping softly around me. My whole body ached, and panic set in as the memory of the fall rushed back. "The baby?" I croaked, my throat dry. Mark's face swam into view, relief flooding his features. "Sarah, thank God. The baby's okay. You've been in a coma for 2 weeks." 2 weeks? My mind reeled. Everything felt foggy, but then it hit me. "Eric," he pushed me. Mark's expression darkened. "I know, but he's claiming it was an accident." Mark said, his voice tight with frustration. "The police can't do anything without proof." Tears welled up in my eyes. But you believe me, right?" "Of course I do," Mark replied fiercely, squeezing my hand. "We'll figure this out, I promise." As I lay there, trying to piece together the events of that night, I heard hushed voices just outside my hospital room. I strained to listen. No concrete evidence, a stern voice was saying. "Without a witness or confession, our hands are tied." But surely the fall itself, my dad's voice, sounding more distressed than I'd ever heard, cut through. "It could have been an accident," the first voice interrupted. "I'm sorry, Mr. Thompson, but we need more to go on." I closed my eyes, a mix of fear and anger twisting in my gut. Eric had tried to kill me, tried to kill my baby, and he might actually get away with it. As I drifted into an uneasy sleep, one thought circled in my mind. I had to find a way to prove what Eric had done. Somehow, I had to make sure he faced justice. The next few days blurred together with doctors, tests, and worried faces surrounding me. I was beyond relieved that my baby had survived, but fear gnawed at me. The worst part was the blank space in my memory, like a black hole where that night should have been. "Sarah, can I come in?" Eric's voice at the door made my heart race. I nodded, unable to trust my voice. He looked awful, pale with dark circles under his eyes. "I'm so sorry," he choked out. "It was an accident, I swear. I never meant for you to fall." I wanted to scream, to accuse him, but the words wouldn't come. Maybe it was the medication, or maybe a part of me wanted to believe him. "Okay," I heard myself say. Eric left and Mark entered, his face dark with a storm of emotions. "Why did you forgive him?" he demanded. I don't know," I whispered. "I can't remember what happened, Mark. What if it really was an accident?" Mark's expression softened. "We'll figure this out. I promise." Days passed, and slowly, flashes of that night started creeping back into my mind. The argument at the top of the stairs, Eric's angry face, the sensation of being shoved. I called Lisa, desperate to talk to someone outside of the situation. It wasn't an accident, I told her, my voice trembling. "I remember now, bits and pieces," he pushed me. There was a sharp intake of breath on the other end. "That bastard," Lisa hissed. "We need to prove it, Sarah." "But how?" "It's my word against his." After a long pause, Lisa spoke, her voice low and determined. "What if we set up a hidden camera? If he visits again, we might catch him saying something incriminating." It felt sneaky, but I was desperate. "Let's do it." Lisa smuggled in a tiny camera disguised as a stuffed animal, and we positioned it carefully in my hospital room, hoping it would capture any future conversations with Eric. Meanwhile, Mark was taking matters into his own hands. He hired a private investigator, Jake, to dig into Eric's past. "You're not going to believe what I found," Jake said during one of his updates. "Your brother-in-law has a history of gambling debts. He's been making some shady business deals to cover them up." I felt sick. "Anything else?" Jake nodded grimly. "He's been meeting with your family's lawyer, looking into ways to contest the will if it's changed in your favor." "We need to be careful," Mark warned. "Eric's clearly dangerous. We can't confront him without solid proof." I agreed, but inside I was seething. How could my own brother do this? The next day, as if summoned by my thoughts, Eric showed up again. This time, I was ready. The hidden camera was in place, and I steeled myself for whatever might happen. "Hey sis," Eric greeted me, overly cheerful. "How are you feeling?" "Better," I replied cautiously. "Eric, we need to talk about what happened that night." His face changed instantly, a flicker of fear, maybe anger, before he quickly composed himself. "I told you it was an accident. Why can't you just let it go?" I took a deep breath. "Because I'm starting to remember, Eric, and what I remember doesn't match what you're saying." His eyes darted nervously around the room, and I prayed he wouldn't notice the camera. "You're confused," he said, his voice hardening. "The doctor said you might have some false memories. Don't go making accusations you can't take back." I saw a glimpse of the real Eric then, the one who had shoved me down those stairs. I knew I was right. This was no accident, and I was more determined than ever to prove it. The day finally came when I was being discharged from the hospital. Eric had agreed to help me pack, not knowing it was all part of our plan. Mark, Lisa, and my parents were in the next room, listening in. The hidden camera was recording, and I was wired up. My heart pounded as Eric walked in, all smiles. "Ready to go home, sis." I took a deep breath, steeling myself for what was about to come. "Almost, but first we need to talk about what really happened that night, Eric," I said, my voice steady. His smile faltered. "We've been over this. It was an accident." "Was it?" I pressed. "Because I remember you pushing me. I remember you talking about the will." Eric's face darkened, and he stepped closer. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Don't I challenged. "I know about your gambling debts, Eric. I know you've been meeting with the family lawyer, looking for ways to contest the will." He moved closer, his voice low and dangerous. "You better watch what you're saying." "Or what?" I shot back. "You'll push me down the stairs again." Eric let out a bitter laugh. "You know what? Fine. Yes, I pushed you. You and your perfect little family were about to ruin everything. Do you have any idea what it's like, always being second best?" I felt a wave of nausea. "So you tried to kill me? Your own sister?" His eyes narrowed. "I didn't mean to push you that hard," he snarled. "But you just wouldn't shut up about the baby, about how happy Mom and Dad were." I couldn't take it anymore. Suddenly, the door burst open. Mark, Lisa, and my parents rushed in, their faces filled with horror and disbelief. "How could you?" Mom sobbed. Dad's voice was cold as ice. "You're no son of mine. Get out." Eric's face paled as the realization hit him. "You set me up," he hissed at me. "No, Eric," I said, my voice steady. "You did this to yourself." The next few hours passed in a whirlwind. The police were called, statements were taken. and Eric was arrested on the spot, charged with attempted murder of me and my unborn child. As the investigation deepened, more of his crimes surfaced: fraud, embezzlement. It was like opening Pandora's box. In the weeks that followed, I focused on my recovery and preparing for my baby's arrival. My family rallied around me, showering me with love and support. Mom and Dad revised their will, cutting Eric out completely. But honestly, I didn't care about the money. All I wanted was for my family to be safe. Then the day came. I was in the delivery room, bringing my daughter into the world. As I held her for the first time, an overwhelming sense of love and protection washed over me. "She's perfect," Mark whispered, tears in his eyes. A few days later, we were home, settling into our new life. Lisa came to visit, bringing news. "It's over," she said. "Eric's been sentenced to 15 years in prison." I nodded, feeling a mix of emotions: relief, sadness, anger. "Sarah," Mark asked softly, "you okay?" I turned to my husband, my best friend, and our beautiful daughter. "Yeah," I said, smiling. "I'm more than okay." As I rejoined my family, I knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, we would face them together. We'd been through hell and come out stronger. Now, with our little girl, a new chapter was beginning. The future was bright, and it was ours. Now, I have a question for you. If you were in Sarah's position, could you ever forgive Eric for his actions? Or do you believe some betrayals are truly unforgivable? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective might help others dealing with toxic family dynamics. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more powerful stories exploring family dynamics, resilience, and personal triumph. Your support helps us continue sharing meaningful narratives. Thanks for watching. We can't wait to hear your opinions. Hey everyone, I'm Olivia Sanders. Where do I even begin? I'm 28, killing it in my marketing career, and thought I had my family drama under control. That all changed with my little sister Emma's wedding. I was helping her plan this perfect day, doing my best to ignore the looming presence of our dad, Robert. Ever since the divorce, he's been a mess, drowning in booze and bad decisions, the worst of which is his new girlfriend, Veronica. She gave me bad vibes from the start. "Liv, do you think Dad will actually show up sober?" Emma asked one day while we were picking out floral arrangements. "I hope so, Em. For your sake, I really do." But hope wasn't enough. As the big day got closer, I found myself playing referee more than maid of honor. My boyfriend, Marcus, was a saint through it all. "Babe, he can't control everything," he said. I know, but if Dad ruins this for Emma, I'll never forgive him." I had no idea how much worse it would get. A week before the wedding, I met up with my best friend Zoe for coffee. She's always been the voice of reason. "Spill it, Liv. What's really bugging you about Veronica?" Zoe asked, giving me a knowing look over her latte. I leaned in, lowering my voice. "There's something off about her, Zoe. The way she latched onto Dad so quickly, how she's always whispering in his ear. And get this, I overheard her on the phone talking about some big score coming up." Zoe's eyes widened. "You think she's conning him?" "I don't know, but I'm going to find out." That determination led me down a rabbit hole. Late nights scrolling through social media, discreet calls to Dad's old friends. I was piecing together a puzzle I wasn't sure I wanted to solve. The day before the wedding, Emma and I were at the venue when Dad and Veronica showed up unannounced. "Daddy." Emma squealed, running to hug him. I stayed back, watching as Veronica's eyes darted around, calculating. "My little girl, all grown up," Dad slurred, and my heart sank. He was already buzzed. "Robert, darling, let's check out the bar," Veronica cooed, shooting me a smug look as they walked away. Emma turned to me, her eyes glistening. "Liv." I cut her off with a hug. "Don't worry, sis. Tomorrow's about you and Jake. Nothing's going to ruin it." If only I had known how wrong I was. They call it the calm before the storm. Well, our storm was brewing, and it was about to hit like a Category 5 hurricane. Standing there, holding my baby sister, I made a silent vow. Come hell or high water, I was going to protect her happiness. Little did I know, I'd end up fighting for so much more than just a perfect wedding day. The ceremony was beautiful. Emma looked radiant, and for a moment, all our family drama faded into the background. As I stood beside her, watching her exchange vows with Jake, I felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, we could have one perfect day. But that hope shattered the moment we entered the reception. I spotted Dad at the bar, already 3 sheets to the wind, with Veronica clinging to him like a leech. "You okay?" Marcus whispered, squeezing my hand. "I've got to keep it together for Emma," I muttered, forcing a smile. As the night wore on, the tension in the room became unbearable. Dad's laughter grew louder, his movements more erratic. Veronica's eyes were scanning the room, a strange gleam in them that made my skin crawl. "Liv, Dad's making a scene," Emma whispered to me, her voice filled with worry. "I'm on it," I assured her, marching over to where Dad was attempting a sloppy Macarena. "Dad, let's get some fresh air," I suggested, trying to stay calm. "Nonsense. I'm celebrating my baby girl's big day," he slurred, stumbling as he twirled. Veronica materialized at his side, her grip on his arm tight. "Leave him alone. He's having fun." "This isn't about fun. It's about respecting Emma's day," I said, struggling to keep my voice steady. Veronica's eyes narrowed. "You think you're so perfect, don't you? Always trying to control everything." The argument escalated fast. We moved to a quieter corner, but our voices grew louder with each exchange. "You don't know anything about our family," I spat. "I know your daddy prefers my company to yours," she sneered. Something in me snapped. "Is that before or after you drained him of his money?" Veronica's face twisted with rage, and in a flash, she lunged at me, grabbing a knife from a nearby dessert table. Everything slowed down. I saw the blade glint under the reception lights, heard the screams, felt my heart race. All I could think was, I ruined Emma's wedding. Then Marcus tackled Veronica, sending the knife clattering to the floor. Chaos erupted, guests scattered, chairs overturned. Through the mayhem, I saw Emma's horrified face, Jake holding her back. Security rushed in, restraining Veronica as she screamed obscenities. As the police led Veronica away in handcuffs, I caught a glimpse of Dad, looking lost and broken. In that moment, I knew things would never be the same. The days after the wedding were a blur of police reports and sleepless nights. Every sound made me jump, the image of that knife flashing through my mind. "You're safe now, Liv," Marcus whispered, holding me close when the nightmares hit, but safety felt like a foreign concept. My own father's girlfriend had tried to stab me at my sister's wedding. How do you even come back from that? Emma was a wreck. When I visited her a week after the incident, she could barely look at me. All those months of planning, and for what? "My wedding will always be remembered as the day someone tried to kill my sister," she said, her voice thick with pain. I'm so sorry. I never meant. "I know it's not your fault," she cut me off, her voice hollow. "But I can't help feeling like our family is cursed or something." Dad, on the other hand, was living in a world of denial. He called constantly, leaving voicemails that made my blood boil. "Olivia, sweetie, let's not blow this out of proportion. Veronica was just upset. She didn't mean any harm." The final straw came when he showed up at my apartment, reeking of booze. "Dad, you need to leave. Now." "But Pumpkin, we're family. We need to stick together." I felt something harden inside me. "No, Dad. We're done. I can't do this anymore." The hurt in his eyes almost made me waver, almost. But as I closed the door on him, I knew it was the right decision. Zoe, ever the investigator, started digging into Veronica's past. What we uncovered was shocking. "Liv, look at this," she said one night, spreading out papers across my coffee table. "Veronica's got a record, assault, fraud, you name it." I scanned the documents, feeling sick. How did Dad not know about this? So hesitated. That's the thing. I think he did. The revelation hit me like a ton of bricks. We found evidence of joint bank accounts and suspicious transfers. Dad wasn't just a victim, he was an accomplice. Telling Emma was one of the hardest things I've ever done. We sat in her kitchen, the wedding gifts still unopened in the corner. "I can't believe it," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "How could he do this to us?" "I don't know him anymore," I said quietly, "but we need to protect ourselves now." Emma nodded, her resolve hardening. "I'm with you, Liv. Always." The guilt was overwhelming. I'd exposed our father's crimes, potentially ruining his life. But had he not already done that himself? The anger and confusion were too much to handle on my own. And that's how I found myself in therapy, trying to make sense of it all. "Olivia, it's okay to feel conflicted. My therapist, Dr. Chen assured me. You've been through a traumatic experience and you're grieving the loss of the father you thought you had. But shouldn't I hate him after everything he's done? There's no should when it comes to emotions. What's important is acknowledging how you feel and working through it. Working through it. Easier said than done. As I left Dr. Chen's office that day, I felt a tiny spark of hope. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Maybe, just maybe, I could build something beautiful from the ashes of what my family used to be. 6 months after the wedding fiasco, I found myself in a place I never thought I'd be, happy, despite everything. Emma, Marcus, Zoe, and I had formed an unbreakable unit, our bond stronger than ever. To new beginnings, Emma toasted one night over dinner at my place. And to family, the one we choose, I added, clinking glasses with my sister. Veronica's trial was a media circus. I sat in a courtroom, my stomach in knots, as her true nature was exposed for all to see. Dad sat next to me, looking shell-shocked as evidence of her past crimes came to light. But the real bombshell was yet to drop. Zoe and I had been working tirelessly, gathering evidence of Dad's involvement in Veronica's schemes. Your Honor, we have documentation proving Robert Sanders' complicity in Miss Blake's fraudulent activities, our lawyer announced in court. As the legal proceedings unfolded, my career was taking off in ways I hadn't expected. One Friday afternoon, my boss called me into his office. Olivia, we're promoting you to Senior Marketing Director. Your resilience and creativity this past year have been exceptional. I left his office in a daze, immediately calling Marcus. Babe, that's incredible. I'm so proud of you, he exclaimed. Amidst the chaos, Emma and Jake decided to renew their vows. This time, it was a small, intimate affair in their backyard. Second time's the charm, Jake joked, making Emma giggle as they exchanged rings once again. Watching them, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. We were healing, finally, all of us. The day of Veronica's sentencing arrived. I stood to deliver my victim impact statement, my voice trembling but steady. The scars from that night run deep, but they've made me stronger. I'm here today not as a victim, but as a survivor. As Veronica was led away in handcuffs, I felt a chapter of my life closing. The real celebration came a month later. Emma, Jake, Marcus, Zoe, and I were at my favorite restaurant, toasting my promotion and our collective resilience. To Olivia, Zoe raised her glass, the strongest person I know. To all of us, I corrected, looking around at the faces of the people who'd stood by me through hell and back. For proving that family isn't just blood, it's loyalty and love. As we laughed and shared stories, I realized something profound. The past year had been a nightmare, but it had also been a gift. It showed me who my real family was, taught me my own strength, and gave me the courage to cut out the toxicity in my life. Sitting there, surrounded by love and genuine happiness, I knew that this was my happy ending. Not perfect, not without scars, but real and beautiful in its own way. And as I looked toward the future, I felt nothing but hope and gratitude for the family I found and the strength I discovered within myself. So that's where my story ends, but I'm curious about your thoughts. If you were in my shoes, would you have given your father another chance after everything he did? Or would you have maintained those boundaries like I did? It's a tough call, and I'm sure many of us have faced similar dilemmas with toxic family members. Share your experiences in the comments. I'd love to hear how you've handled these situations in your own lives. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more real-life drama and discussions about navigating complicated family dynamics. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me continue sharing these personal stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey everyone, I'm Sarah Thompson. I'm 28, juggling med school and waitressing at Joe's Diner to pay the bills. Then one day, this tall, handsome guy walks in, James Anderson, 30, a software engineer. He sits in my section, and I swear, the air changes. What can I get you? I ask, trying to sound professional. Coffee, black, and your number, if you're not too busy, he replies with a grin. I laugh it off. Sorry, I don't get customers, company policy. But James wasn't backing down. He came in every day for 2 weeks straight, and finally I caved. Fine, one date. But don't get your hopes up, Mr. Software. That one date turned into 6 months of pure bliss. James was different. kind, understanding, and didn't care that I was just a waitress. But I still had my doubts. James, are you sure about this? I mean, look at you and look at me, I asked one night. He took my hand and said, Sarah, you're the most incredible woman I've ever met. Your job doesn't define you. Before I knew it, we were on a moonlit beach, and James was down on one knee. Sarah Thompson, will you marry me? My heart stopped. Yes, 1,000 times yes. But then the bubble burst when I met his parents. Their mansion was intimidating, to say the least, and Robert and Elizabeth Anderson made it clear they didn't approve. So Sarah, James tells us you're a waitress, Elizabeth said, her voice dripping with condescension. I straightened my back. Yes, I work at a diner to support myself through med school. Robert scoffed. Med school? Please, we know your type. You're just after our son's money. James stood up, furious. That's enough. Sarah is brilliant and hardworking. I love her, and we're getting married. Robert's face turned red. If you marry this waitress, you're cut off. No inheritance, no support, nothing. I felt sick. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. But then James took my hand, looked his father in the eye, and said, then I guess I'm cut off, because I'm marrying Sarah, with or without your blessing. As we left, I couldn't believe what had just happened. James, are you sure about this? It's your family. He kissed me softly. You're my family now, Sarah. We'll figure this out together. Walking away from that mansion, I knew things were about to get a whole lot more complicated. But with James by my side, I felt ready to take on the world, his stuck-up parents included. The months after our engagement were a whirlwind of stress and excitement. We were planning a wedding, pinching pennies wherever we could. Just when things seemed impossible, James's sister, Emma, reached out. We met in a quiet cafe, away from prying eyes. I can't openly support you guys, she whispered, sliding an envelope across the table. But I want to help. Inside was a check that made my eyes widen. Emma, we can't. You can, and you will. It's my money, and I believe in you too. Meanwhile, the Andersons were doing everything they could to ruin us. Rumors spread like wildfire. I was a gold digger, a liar, even a criminal. It got so bad that Joe, my boss at the diner, called me into his office one day. Sarah, I'm sorry, but I have to let you go. The Andersons are threatening to pull their business investments if I keep you on. I was devastated. That job had been my lifeline through med school. James was livid when I told him. They can't do this. It's not right. But it wasn't just his parents. At James's bachelor party, his childhood friend Michael showed his true colors. Dude, you're making a huge mistake, Michael slurred. That waitress is just using you. Through it all, my best friend Lisa was my rock. She helped with decorations, taste-tested cakes, and kept me sane. Girl, you're going to be the most beautiful bride ever, she said during our final dress fitting. Some of James's work buddies stepped up too. They pulled together for a honeymoon fund, insisting we needed a proper getaway. Finally, our wedding day arrived. The small church was decorated simply but beautifully. As I walked down the aisle, my heart swelled. There was James waiting for me. But I couldn't help noticing the empty seats where James's family should have been. During our vows, his voice cracked slightly. Sarah, you are my family now. No matter what life throws at us, we'll face it together. I squeezed his hands, fighting back tears. James, you've shown me what true love and loyalty mean. I promise to stand by you always. As we shared our first kiss as husband and wife, the small crowd erupted in cheers, but I saw the flicker of pain in James's eyes as he glanced at the empty front row. Later during our first dance, I whispered, "Are you okay?" He pulled me closer. "I have you. That's all I need." But I knew the absence of his family was a wound that wouldn't heal easily. As we swayed to the music, I silently vowed to make sure James never regretted choosing me, no matter what it took. The reception kicked off, and I played my part perfectly, the humble waitress bride, grateful for every small gesture. I could practically feel the pitying looks from some of James's colleagues who'd shown up despite the drama. "Such a lovely, simple wedding," one woman commented, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. I nodded and thanked her, biting my tongue. James sensed my discomfort and squeezed my hand. Suddenly, there was a commotion at the entrance. In walked Dr. Harry Chen, the dean of my medical school, and Dr. Marcus Foster, chief of surgery at Central Hospital. My heart raced. This was it. "Sorry, honey," I said to James. "I need to freshen up." Be right back. I ducked into a side room where Lisa was waiting, holding my white coat. My hands shook slightly as I put it on. "You've got this, Dr. Thompson," Lisa winked. Taking a deep breath, I walked back into the reception. The room fell silent as I made my way to the microphone. "I want to thank you all for coming today," I began, "but there's something I need to share." I turned to James, whose eyes were wide with confusion. "James, I haven't been entirely honest with you. I'm not just a waitress." Dr. Chen stepped forward. "Allow me to introduce Dr. Sarah Thompson, top of her class and recipient of our prestigious neurosurgery fellowship." Dr. Foster chimed in, "and the youngest recipient of the Breakthrough Research Grant in the hospital's history." The room erupted in gasps and whispers. James stood there, mouth agape. "I've been working double shifts and studying in secret," I explained. "I wanted to surprise you, to show you and everyone else that I'm more than they assumed." James rushed over, lifting me off my feet in a bear hug. "You amazing, brilliant woman," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I'm so proud of you." As we embraced, Emma stood up, clinking her glass for attention. "I've known about Sarah's accomplishments for months," she announced, "and I'm ashamed of how our family has treated her. Sarah is brilliant, kind, and exactly the person James deserves." Just then, Michael stumbled forward, clearly having had too much champagne. "James, man, I'm sorry. I was wrong about Sarah. Can we?" James cut him off coldly. "Save it, Michael. You showed your true colors. We're done." I placed a hand on James's arm. "He's not worth it, love." As the night wore on, James and I shared a quiet moment alone. "I can't believe you kept this from me," he said, shaking his head in amazement. "Are you mad?" I asked, suddenly nervous. He cupped my face in his hands. "Mad? Sarah, I'm in awe of you. You're the most incredible person I've ever met." A few days later, James and I jetted off to Bali for our honeymoon, finally able to relax after months of stress and secrecy. We spent 2 blissful weeks exploring temples, lounging on beaches, and just being together, free from drama. "I can't believe we pulled it off," I said one night, sipping a cocktail on our villa's balcony. James grinned. "You pulled it off, Dr. Thompson. I'm just along for the ride." When we returned home, reality hit fast. But in the best way possible, life quickly shifted gears. My inbox was flooded with requests for interviews and speaking engagements. My research on neural regeneration was causing quite a stir in the medical community. "Dr. Thompson, your findings could revolutionize stroke treatment," my mentor gushed during a conference call. Meanwhile, James's career was also skyrocketing. His tech company had landed a huge contract developing software for medical imaging. One evening, he burst into our apartment, practically bouncing off the walls. "Guess who just became the youngest VP in company history?" he announced. I squealed and jumped into his arms. "I'm so proud of you." As we celebrated our successes, the Andersons made their move. One Sunday afternoon, they showed up at our door, looking uncomfortable. "Sarah, James, we've made a terrible mistake," Robert began, his voice full of regret. Elizabeth chimed in, "We'd like to make amends. Perhaps we could all have dinner." "No," James said firmly, cutting them off. "You had your chance. We're done." I nodded, backing him up. "Please leave. We have nothing to say to you." As they slunk away, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. We didn't need their approval anymore. Karma, it seemed, was working overtime. A month later, news broke of a major scandal at Robert's company, unethical business practices, insider trading, the works. The Andersons' carefully crafted image crumbled overnight. "Did you hear?" Emma called to tell us. "Mom's been blacklisted from every charity board in the city. They're social pariahs now." I couldn't help but feel a twinge of satisfaction. "How are you holding up?" I asked her. "Honestly, I'm relieved," Emma admitted. "I'm done pretending to be someone I'm not just to please them. I've moved out, and I was hoping we could get together soon." Our little family grew stronger as Emma became a regular fixture in our lives. We had game nights, weekend brunches, and she even started dating one of James's colleagues, a far cry from the stuffy suitors her parents used to push on her. As for Michael, his comeuppance came in its own time. He lost his job after being accused of sexually harassing an intern. His betrayal of James had just been the tip of the iceberg when it came to his character flaws. A year after our wedding, James and I found ourselves at a charity gala, not as guests, but as honorees. The ballroom was packed with the city's elite, all there to celebrate our contributions to medicine and technology. As we stood on stage accepting the award, I caught James's eye. In that moment, I saw all our struggles, triumphs, and love reflected back at me. We have faced prejudice, betrayal, and countless obstacles. But standing there in James's arms, celebrated for our achievements and surrounded by true friends, I knew we'd won, not just against the Andersons or the naysayers, but against the notion that wealth and status define a person's worth. The story of Sarah and James Thompson Anderson has come to an end. Now, I have a question for you. If you were in Sarah's position, would you have revealed your true accomplishments at the wedding reception, or would you have kept your success a secret to avoid appearing vindictive? Consider the potential consequences of each choice. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective could spark an interesting discussion about pride, revenge, and the value of proving others wrong. If you enjoyed this story of triumph over prejudice and adversity, don't forget to hit that like button. And for more compelling stories that challenge societal expectations, subscribe to our channel. Hey everyone, I'm Sarah. I'm sitting in my sleek New York City apartment, surrounded by half-packed suitcases and travel brochures. Work has been going amazing. I just landed a big promotion at my marketing firm. Now I'm finally treating myself to a well-deserved vacation. Or so I thought. Sarah, honey, can you grab my dry cleaning while you're out? My mom's voice crackles through the phone. I roll my eyes. Mom, I'm in New York, remember? I can't just pop by the cleaners for you. Oh right, she laughs. I keep forgetting how successful my baby girl is now. Classic mom, always forgetting that I have my own life. Don't get me wrong, I love my family, but sometimes I feel more like their personal assistant than their daughter. My phone pings. It's a text from my sister Amanda. Hey, can you watch the kids next weekend? Tom and I need a break. I sigh and text back, sorry, Amanda. I've got plans. But you're so good with them. Lily and Max love their Aunt Sarah. Of course they do, probably because I'm the only one who doesn't pawn them off on someone else every chance I get. Just as I'm about to silence my phone, it rings again. This time, it's my younger brother Mike. Yo, Sarah, can I borrow your car next week? Got a big date. Mike, I'm in New York. My car is in storage. Oh yeah. Well, can you rent me one? I'll pay you back. Sure, just like the last 5 times. At 25, you'd think he'd have his act together by now. I flop onto the couch, feeling drained. My best friend Rachel sits next to me, her laptop open to her travel blog. Family at it again, she asks, raising an eyebrow. When aren't they? I groan. Sometimes I think they forget I have my own life. Rachel pats my arm. You've got to start setting some boundaries. You can't keep dropping everything for them. I know. It's just, they're family, you know. Family doesn't mean being a doormat, Sarah. She's right, of course, but old habits die hard. Just as I'm about to respond, my phone rings again. It's Mom. Sarah, honey, I need you to come home right away. It's an emergency. My heart drops. What's wrong? Is everyone okay? We just need you here now. Can you book a flight? Without hesitation, I'm on my laptop, booking the next flight out. I'll be there as soon as I can, Mom. Just hang on. Rachel watches me pack. You sure about this? It's awfully last minute. It's an emergency. I have to go. Little did I know, I was walking right into a trap. When I burst through the front door of my family's house, my heart is pounding. Mom? Dad? Is everyone okay? Silence. I spot Lily and Max playing in the living room, completely oblivious. Aunt Sarah. Lily squeals, running to hug me. Hey, kiddo, I say, distracted. Where's your mom? Max shrugs, not looking up from his toys. They all left. My stomach sinks. Left? What do you mean left? That's when I see it, a note taped to the fridge. As I read it, my blood boils. Dear Sarah, we've gone on a cruise. Watch the kids for 2 weeks. Love, Mom, Dad, Amanda, and Mike. I crumple the note in my fist. You've got to be kidding me. Memories flood my mind. Amanda guilting me into planning her wedding. Mike borrowing money he never repaid. Mom and Dad expecting me to drop everything for their last-minute dinner parties. My phone buzzes. It's Mom. How could you do this to me? I hiss. Oh, Sarah, don't be so dramatic. It's just 2 weeks. I have a job, Mom. I have plans. Family comes first. The kids need you. And what about what I need? Don't be selfish, Sarah. We didn't raise you to be selfish. The call ends, leaving me seething. I look at Lily and Max, feeling torn. It's not their fault, but I can't just let this slide. I open Facebook and my jaw drops. Amanda has posted a selfie on a cruise ship. Child-free vacay, here we come, #blessed. The timestamp? 3 months ago. Next, Mike's post pops up. 2 weeks of free booze. Thanks, sis. My hands shake as I dial Rachel's number. They played me, They played me. I blurt out, my voice cracking. What happened? She asks, concern in her tone. I spill everything, the cruise, the note, the guilt, my family's constant manipulation. I can barely keep my voice steady. Sarah, listen to me, Rachel says, her voice firm. You need to put yourself first for once. They can't keep treating you like this. But the kids are not your responsibility. Your family needs to learn that they can't walk all over you. She's right. I've spent years bending over backwards for them. And for what? What should I do? I ask, feeling lost. Well, Rachel says, a mischievous tone creeping into her voice. You're already packed for a vacation, right? A slow smile spreads across my face. Rachel, you're a genius. I know. Now let's plan your great escape. As we scheme, I feel a weight lifting off my shoulders. For once, I'm putting myself first, and it feels damn good. Lily, Max, I call out. How would you like to spend 2 weeks with Mrs. Thompson next door? Their excited cheers seal the deal. It's time for Aunt Sarah to teach the grown-ups a lesson they won't forget. With my heart racing from a mix of anxiety and excitement, I dial Mrs. Thompson. Mrs. Thompson, it's Sarah from next door. I have an unusual favor to ask. To my relief, she agrees without hesitation. Of course, dear. Those little ones are always a delight. But are you sure everything's all right? It will be, I say, my voice filled with newfound determination. With the kids taken care of, I book my flight to London, dipping into my emergency fund. But you know what? This is an emergency of self-respect. I scribble a note for my family. Gone on my own trip. Kids are with Mrs. Thompson. Enjoy your cruise. Sarah. As the plane takes off, I switch off my phone, feeling a rush of liberation. Goodbye, New York. Hello, London. Rachel meets me at Heathrow, grinning from ear to ear. Ready for some revenge tourism? You bet your ass I am, I laugh, linking arms with her as we head into the city. We spend our days exploring every corner of London, posing for silly pictures at Big Ben, stuffing ourselves with fish and chips, and catching a show in the West End. Look at you, Rachel exclaims one evening as we sip cocktails at a rooftop bar. I've never seen you so free. I smile, realizing she's right. For the first time in years, I'm not worried about anyone but myself. Meanwhile, my family's messages pile up in my voicemail. Mom, Sarah Elizabeth, you call us this instant. How could you abandon your niece and nephew like this? Dad, Princess, please, your mother's worried sick. Just let us know you're okay. Amanda, what the hell, Sarah? I trusted you with my kids. You're so selfish. Mike, yo sis, our mom and dad are pretty pissed. Can you come back or something? With each message, I feel a little stronger, a little more sure of myself. One night, as Rachel and I stroll along the Thames, she asks, do you regret it? Coming here? I pause, thinking, you know what? Not even a little bit. For once, I'm putting myself first, and it feels amazing. Good, she nods. Because you deserve this, Sarah. You deserve to be happy. As we continue our walk, I realize something. This trip isn't just about getting back at my family. It's about reclaiming my life, my independence. It's about becoming the Sarah I always wanted to be. Back at the hotel, I check my special email account. Mrs. Thompson has sent an update about the kids. They're happy, healthy, and apparently loving their vacation at her house. I reply thanking her and assuring her I'll be back soon. Then, on a whim, I book us tickets for a day trip to Paris. Because why not? I'm our role. As I fall asleep that night, I think about my family on their cruise. I wonder if they're enjoying themselves or if they're too busy worrying about the mess they've made. Either way, I'm done feeling guilty. I'm done being the family doormat. When I go back, things are going to change. But for now, I've got a date with the Eiffel Tower. I stand in the driveway, suitcase by my side, as my family's minivan pulls up. The tension in the air is thick. Mom is the first to step out, her face a mix of relief and fury. Sarah Elizabeth, where have you been? Do you have any idea? I cut her off. Save it, Mom. I know exactly what you all did. Dad steps forward, his hands raised placatingly. Now, Princess, let's all calm down and talk about this like adults. Oh, now you want to talk like adults? That's rich. Amanda pushes past them, her face red with anger. How could you abandon my children like that? I trusted you. I can't help but laugh. Trusted me? You mean you manipulated me? All of you did. Mike hangs back, looking uncomfortable. Come on, sis. It wasn't that big a deal. Not a big deal. I explode. You lied to me. You took advantage of me again. Mom tries to interject. We didn't lie. We just. Just what, Mom? Conveniently forgot to mention your month-long, pre-planned vacation. Their faces fall as they realize I know everything. How did you find out? Dad asks quietly. Social media exists. Dad, you should try it sometime. Amanda steps forward, her anger melting into desperation. Sarah, please. Tom left me. He said he couldn't be with someone who tricked their own sister. I feel a twinge of sympathy, but push it down. That's not my problem. Amanda. Mike pipes up, yeah, well, just dumped me too. Said I was immature and selfish. Gee, I wonder why, I mutter. Mom and Dad exchange glances. Sarah, honey, Mom begins. We've been getting calls from everyone. Aunt Marge, Uncle Pete, even Pastor Jim. They're all so disappointed in us. Welcome to the club, I say coldly. Dad sighs heavily. We messed up, Princess. We see that now. Can't we just go back to how things were? I shake my head firm. No, we can't. Things are going to change around here. I lay out my new rules. No more last-minute favors. No more guilt trips. No more taking advantage of my kindness. They listen in stunned silence. And one more thing I add. I'm moving to London for a year. My company offered me a position there, and I'm taking it. Mom gasps. But Sarah, what about your family? What about me? Mom, don't I deserve to put myself first for once? As I turn to leave, Amanda grabs my arm. Sarah, please, I need you. The kids need you. I gently remove her hand. You'll figure it out, Amanda. You're stronger than you think. I walk away, feeling lighter than I have in years. As I reach my car, I hear Dad call out, will we still see you? I pause, then turn back. That depends on you. Show me you can respect my boundaries and we'll see. As I drive away, I catch a glimpse of them in my rearview mirror. Mom and Dad holding each other, Amanda wiping away tears, Mike kicking at the ground. Part of me aches for them, but a bigger part knows this is necessary. 6 months later, I'm thriving in London. My job is challenging and rewarding, and I've made amazing friends. Rachel visits often, and we laugh about how far I've come. Back home, things are tough. Amanda is struggling as a single mom. Mike finally had to get a job and move out, and Mom and Dad are dealing with the social fallout of their actions. We talk occasionally, and I can sense they're trying to change. As I sip my tea and look out over the London skyline, I realize something important. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for your family and for yourself is to set boundaries and stick to them. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. Because at the end of the day, you've got to be the hero of your own story. The story's over, folks. Now I've got a question for you. Have you ever had to cut ties with toxic family members? How did it impact your life? Share your experiences in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life drama and revenge tales. Your support keeps these stories coming.